All right. Hello, welcome to my Tony-san YouTube channel. First video. Gonna be a rough one today, y'all.
If I make it, I keep it.
Always trouble when I ring. See how the
I just want to give a shout out and a thanks. I want to thank Jeremiah Love. Check out YouTube. Jaden Thomas, JT. You know what I'm saying? I want to give big shout outs to them. Them boys, they gave me the confidence to do this. You know, they started their channels. You know, they gave me some confidence to do all this. I also want to give a big shout out to Miss Moments Captured for doing on the editing on these videos. Cause I wasn't gonna do it because I don't know how to do it. Cause this was about to be one whole long video of me talking. It might still be that, you know what I'm saying? There might be no cuts. Today. So this weekend I was at this camp and this topic came up just with me and one other student, and the situation that's happening is now normalized in this society, which is not okay, you know what I mean? It's not a good thing whatsoever. I feel like I wanted to talk about it because I know it's what I've been through, you know what I mean? You know, this isn't no pity story. Oh yeah, and by the way, if this isn't the Tony funny dude, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, this ain't gonna be him on here, you know what I mean? This is gonna be the more in tune, in depth character, you know what I mean? He's gonna be thinking more out of his brain, not speaking that rah-rah. This is gonna be a more vulnerable thing. And if you ever see me out in public, I don't wanna hear no, I'm so sorry, stuff like that. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to tell my part, and hopefully we can get through this together, you know what I'm saying? You can get some knowledge and things like that, because this topic that is that we're going to be talking about today is a very normalized topic in the society, which it shouldn't be, you know, at all, or in general. So the topic we're going to be talking about today is abandonment, you know what I mean? Being abandoned, abandoning, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. You know, if you've done it before, you know, if you're a subject to it. So for me, I was a subject to it. And this isn't shade at, you know, the fella that did this to me. You know, it would have been shade a couple years ago, but, you know, I had to grow up and, you know, understand something. So we're at this camp and I'm talking to one of my dogs, and it happens to him, right? So it happened to him when he was younger, and he's just asking me questions that I've already been put through and I've already thought myself, you know. I feel like when being abandoned, there's a lot of issues that come up, especially self-worth and self-value issues that come up when you are, you know, abandoned. These abandonment issues, you know, not saying I'm perfect or anyone else is perfect, but when you're sitting there at night, you know, you're just like, you know, why did so-and-so skedaddle? For me, it was more of a self-value that I lacked because of him leaving, you know what I mean? It was more of I didn't understand why he left and then started another family or had another family already, and why I couldn't be a part of that family, you know what I mean? So it was more on that side than it was, you know, me being sad that he left. It was me being sad that I wasn't worth it, you know what I mean? And that comes with, you know, self-value situations that you're put in. You know, you use them on a daily situation, like you know, you weren't picked for a team. Oh, well, I'm not worth it, you know what I mean? Like, I understand that. And you start to compare yourself. I started this on my Snapchat one, but we're done with that. We're on the YouTubes now. But I was, as a younger kid, I was sitting there wondering, you know, why I wasn't worth it, or why he couldn't have reached out sooner. But for me, it was, I think it only tore me down inside when I let it. Like when, when I was alone or when I was sad, I would sit there and then it would all come back to me and I'd be like, why am I not worth it? Or why, he couldn't put out that extra hand, or he couldn't put out that extra phone call, or, maybe like we scheduled something like once a week. But yeah, I feel like that situation is hard, and me and my friend talked about it, and I told him it was, it's not your fault. You can't really do anything about that, Like for me, I was a baby, and he just ended up not showing up. And for him, I think he was a younger kid when it happened. So like two separate stories, but the same ending. So I was sitting there and I was trying to let him understand it's not your fault because you couldn't do anything, you know what I mean? You were an infant, or you were a baby. And I told him, I said it is hard. It took me 19 years to truly understand what was going on, and to sit there and understand. Everyone has their own story, right? And I'm not gonna jack his story or anything, but it was just hard for me to come to terms because of who I was and wanting to always be that perfect guy, you know what I mean? I was striving to be the best version of myself, but sometimes I thought I lost the best version of myself because I was left left behind. So I feel like as a young kid, it was harder for me, not even a young kid, a young adult, a young man, 19 through, boom. It was harder for me to date. It was harder for me to make friends and talk to people because in the back of my head, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, I'm not worth it. You know what I mean? My own father left, Like I said again, there's no shade towards him. I've met to an agreement with myself. And, God really helped me on this one. But, like I said, it was always lurking in the back of your head. It was always like this mosquito bite you couldn't get rid of, or this I don't know, that was my only analogy. Anyways, I just thought it was almost impossible for me to do things achievable because I thought I was a failure. I thought I was a mistake because of so and so leaving, which isn't the case at all, honestly. But you sit there and realize when you're laying in bed, you're a young kid, and you're just like, my mom did a really, really good job, and then my uncle did a really, really good job of not letting me know this information until I was about 13 or 14. I mean, every kid is going to be sad about the situation, no matter how long you keep it from them. For me, I was a little shocked at first, but the love I had towards, my uncle, which is my dad, was still the same, you know what I mean? It never changed. In my eyes, he's still my father, you know what I mean? He's still my dad at the end of the day. No matter if you have a father figure or not, if you did or you didn't, those problems will still, show themselves because of you still knowing, you know what I mean? Like, in the back of your head, you're just sitting there like, wow, it's rough, isn't it? It's rough. I also want to just talk about like God's love in this situation. I just became a Christian, like a year ago. Year and like 2 months, a month or so. And it has really helped me put this situation into like an idea of what happened and stuff like that, and how to help me because, you know, before this, I was so lost. I was a lost teenager, you know. I mean, it happens to most of us. We're so lost. We try to fill things with different things that are not necessary. For me, it was a struggle because to myself, I had no value. I had no potential to be anything other than a lost young man, like a lost kid or a lost soul. You know, if you would ask myself 2 years ago, a year ago, actually not a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, like where do you see yourself in 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, 1 year? I would say I don't know. I don't have a plan for it, you know. And that's what's hard, because you sit here with no plan. Which, I mean, it's good to not have a plan, you know, just live out your life as it is. But for me, my plan was no plan. It was just to do whatever to survive. And, you know, if I had to get a job, which I'm at right now, right now. But, yeah, let's take this back. I'm sorry. I'm yapping. I get to yapping. So me and this kid, we were talking, and he was sitting there, and I'm not trying to give out because of the respect of the young man, you know. It's very hard to go through this, especially alone, especially no one to talk to. So we're sitting there, we're talking, and I'm like, this isn't your fault. And, you know, I said it was in God's plan for you to not, you know, have a father and things like that, because, you know, imagine if you did have a father and your father was an alcoholic, or, you know, your father did drugs and, you know, put you in an even worse situation than what you were put in. And I believe it's a part of God's plan. And I said to him, God gives the strongest battles to the strongest soldiers. I'm not sure if that is true. Because I'm hanging on. But I told him that, and I said, you're not alone in this just because, you know, you think you are. It's, like I said, I told him, I was like, I mean, you really don't just, it's hard to forgive somebody you don't know, you know what I mean? You don't know his side of the story. And sometimes you don't even want to know his side of the story. You're just like, man, like, I just really don't like you. That's what I was. I was filled with a lot of hate and anger, especially when I was younger. You know, when my mom told me, my dad told me. I had a lot of anger, and my uncle, he was trying to help me reconnect with him. And I think it was like 12 or 13. I met him. I met my sister, which my sister might be watching this video. A lot of sisters might be watching this video. Hey, don't look at me differently. But yeah, the one I met might be watching this video, and I want you to know this is not no shade towards him and towards you guys. This is just an understanding for my brain, and, you know, there's other people that go through this. I just want everyone to know that, you know, this is a normal thing that shouldn't be normalized ever. Like, this shouldn't be a cool thing to do. You know, you shouldn't, you know, be leaving kids and stuff like that, because you might think, you know, somebody else picked up your job, but at the end of the day, there's still this dagger in the back of the kid that you stabbed when you left him. You know, I never thought of this, you know, when I was 12, 13, you know, I'm living my life. I have my dad, I have my mom. We just live in different houses. And normal, I thought that was so normal to me. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to my dad's house. Oh, I'm gonna go back to my mom's house. And I was living, you know, the dream. I was living, you know, I love them very much, both of them very much. But, you know, they told me, which I'm not gonna blame them for this at all. You know what I'm saying? I needed to know this as a young man to grow. And then they told me, and then I looked at my dad, and I'm like, and I'm holding back tears because I don't understand what's going on. But I said, but you're still my dad. Because, you know, he raised me. exactly like his other son, exactly like his daughter. So, you know, I'm not going to, you know, take away that because of somebody else, you know, being my father. But I just want y'all to know that it will get easier, you know, the more mature you come, and, you know, learn to love and not hate other people. I mean, I feel like I've overcome this, you know, so this isn't an issue in my life any longer. I feel like I really overcame this. But yeah, like I wanted to say, I love every single one of y'all that joined this video. You know, even one view, you know, you're a part of my life now, and I'm gonna try to keep on filling you guys with as much knowledge as I can. Know that God has a plan for every single one of you guys. No matter if you do not believe in Him or you do, know that He loves you. Know that I love you, and just to know that this channel is for growth, mentally, physically, you know, emotionally. I think that's the same thing as mentally, but, you know, get your brains moving, get your brains active, you know. And like I said, this is not no pity story, you know, this is my side of the story. I just want everybody to know that, you know, you're not alone in anything, any situation, because, you know, I felt like I've been in most situations to know that, you know, there's always people to be there for you. I want you to know, have a blessed day. I think maybe possibly this will come out tonight. This is the 5th, I think, 5th or 6th. It's 9:40. I'm gonna give this to my best friend, girlfriend, Sarah. And Sarah, do your thing. Like I said, y'all, have a blessed day. Your brother finna go into work. But, you know, I gotta be a functioning part of society. But now that I say it, I love you. You love someone. I'm gonna be like 10 to 10, man. Tell somebody you love them. Read your Bible today. I will see y'all tomorrow from me filming this. Hopefully, I already have 2 more subjects to talk about. But stay golden, pony boy.